Hello, 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 goddesses. How are you this evening? I'm so glad to be with you and to share this time together. Wherever you are joining me from tonight, thank you for giving yourself this sacred time to be together because the world teaches us to hustle, 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 to prove ourselves, to stay busy, and earn our worth through constant doing. And I'm here to tell you, beautiful goddesses, that the goddess herself teaches us something different. She reminds us that flowers do not bloom because they rush. The moon never apologizes for its phases. The ocean does not force the tide. Nature trusts its own rhythm. And tonight, let us remember ours. So let's take a moment to just breathe deeply. As we do so, we're going to grab our lovely cauldron here and our lovely, we're almost done with him. Our lovely, lovely aromatic incense here, our little bundle. And let's light our candle to get started with our work together. So here we go. Let me try a little more flame on him, just so we get our energetic clearing that we want to have before we get started on these things. Here we go. And clear yourselves, take the energy, play smoke, and clear your energy. Okay. Woo. Okay, here we go. So let's take another long, deep breath in and release. And again, and release. Allow the weight of the day, our hump day, to just fall away from your shoulders. And imagine yourself just walking through a beautiful temple garden. The air is warm. Jasmine perfumes the breeze. Birdsong replaces the endless noise of phones and computers and obligations. And ahead of you sits a magnificent woman dressed in flowing white and gold. And she smiles as though she has been waiting for you. She motions for you to sit beside her. And as you sit, she asks you just one question. Beloved, what have you been carrying that was never yours to hold? Now think about that for just a moment. What have you been carrying that was never yours to hold? What obligation? What tasks? What duties? What thoughts that were never yours to hold? Think about this without judgment and allow the answers to rise. Notice every expectation, every obligation, every unnecessary burden, one by one. She offers you a golden bowl in which to place them. And as you do, watch as each burden dissolves into brilliant light. Your shoulders become lighter. Your breath becomes deeper. Your heart becomes softer. She places one hand on your heart and whispers, "Their softness is strength, your stillness is sacred, and your rest is holy." Take one more deep breath, hold, and release. And when you're ready, come back into this room and join us as I call upon every loving ancestor, every benevolent guide, every divine mother. May this time together become sanctuary, and may every woman listening remember that she does not have to earn peace. She is worthy of peace simply by being here. And so it is. You know, in our Awaken Her sessions on Monday nights, we've been talking about the worship we have of hard work or work to the point of exhaustion. And if we don't work to that point, if we are not uh, giving everything we ever do, our all, okay, and taking on responsibilities or tasks that were never really ours to hold, okay, then we are being conditioned to worship work and to denigrate rest. We believe I must always be available. If I stop doing X, Y, or Z, everything will fall apart. I'll rest after I do this or that or the other thing. Yet after rarely shows up. Our culture celebrates burnout. And I think younger generations now are beginning to reject that culture. But for most of us, we've been taught to work and work and work and somehow manage our stress, our anxiety, and our burnout all on our own. But the goddess celebrates balance, or what I like to call harmony and homeostasis. Okay? Uh, the soft life isn't about luxuriating and having a whole bunch of stuff. It isn't about laziness. It isn't about escaping responsibility. The soft life is about refusing unnecessary suffering. That's it. The things that were not really yours to hold or do or fix. That's what we are talking about putting down. We don't have to be available for everyone and everything or every crisis everywhere all the time. We don't have to step up every single time a call goes out. Sometimes it's our turn to rest, to relax, to rejuvenate, to pour into ourselves so that eventually we may get up again and do more of the work that we came here to do. And I think sometimes too, we get caught up in doing other people's work and not our own. And then when it comes time to do our work, we're exhausted, we're tired, and we don't have it to give anymore. We have so allowed our cup to drain that when we need our energy, there's nothing there. So sacred rest is also not about sleeping or sleeping alone. It's creating enough spaciousness in your life to hear your own soul's calling. Sometimes sacred rest looks like something as simple as turning off your phone. How often do you do that? Just turn off your phone. Taking a slow, leisurely walk to nowhere just because you want to. How about saying no when you mean no? How about just sitting in silence and enjoying a cup of tea? How about reading a book of poetry, or your favorite type of fiction, okay? Watching the sunset or the sunrise, breathing without needing to explain anything to anybody. Rest becomes sacred when it reconnects you to yourself, okay? So there are 7 types of rest that we may need, that our body and our spirit and our soul may be calling for. So here we go. We have physical rest, which I think is the most obvious, right? When we need to lie down, when we need to stop doing with our body. Sometimes we need emotional rest. There's just too much going on and we can't cope. We need mental rest. We need to stop having to measure our thoughts and to overthink everything. We can need spiritual rest, right? Where we take a break from everything that's outside of us and go inward. We could need creative rest. I mean, many of us are creative people. And so when we are seeking to be creative all the time, because that's another way of hustle, 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 even though it's enjoyable to many of us, we may be on creative overload. The same way we might need sensory rest because we're on sensory overload. We've been doing too much. Okay. And the final type of rest is social rest, getting off social media, being in your own little hidey hole, your little hermit cave, whatever, so that you can reset and then be ready to go out in the world again. Okay. So once again, let's think about some of the ways that we think that lead us to not indulge in any of those kinds of rest, right? Such as I have to do everything. If I ask for help for myself, then I'm weak. Okay. My value comes from what I produce. And if I don't produce anything, where's my value? Everyone else needs to come first. Okay. One of the conversation that I've seen online that really annoys me is the conversation about who should eat first, the children or the father or the man in the house. Okay. And my thought has always been, if I'm cooking, I eat first. I'm the one that has to be sustained so that I can feed everybody else and put the food into everybody else's mouth. The cook eats first. And whether that's the man or the woman or whichever partner it is in same-sex households, the person who does the work gets the first reward. Okay. And that way you take everyone else's needs out of the equation. Because even if you don't eat right then, you can just set your plate aside and know that you are taken care of whenever it is that you sit down to have that plate. Okay. So it's time to consider the idea of rest as resistance. And this is particularly true of minority women, and in particular, even in that area, is Black women. Because, especially in this country, Black women have been forced to work when everybody else could sit down and stay home. At times in this country, and we're not even talking about slavery issues, but even after slavery, during Reconstruction and afterwards, laws were passed to ensure that Black women worked. Okay, so this is how many white women got away with not working in their own homes, of having maids and nannies and everyone else, because the Black women were made to work. Okay. So think about this too. What happens when a woman rests? She stops participating in all those systems that profit from her depletion. Okay? If you are forced to work by any means, right, then that means someone else is benefiting from your labor and you are left with the scraps of your own energy reserves. You are left to find your rest whatever way you can. Rest says, I belong to myself. I don't have to give all of me to anybody. I don't owe all of me to anybody. And anybody who wishes to claim all of who I am is going to be severely disappointed because I know that I have to take care of me. Okay. One of the goddesses that we have been working with this week has been Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. She is a Greek goddess that you basically find in every home. And I find her so fascinating because she was actually one of the first goddesses to come from the union of the Titans, Rhea and Kronos, that were also Zeus's parents, if you know Greek mythology or maybe you watch Disney movies. Anyway, um, Hestia was on Mount Olympus. And when another god, Dionysus, came into existence and wanted his spot on Mount Olympus, Hestia was like, go ahead, have it, because she much rather to be known on a personal level, to be in every home, to be the hearth, to be the warmth, to be the fire that cooked the food, to be known on that personal level, and especially for that connection with women and the work that women do every day, to be that fiery companion to everything that women worked for. Okay. Because without her, there could be no more nourishment, there could be no warmth, there could be no communal gathering space around the fire. Okay. Because she was the one that provided it for everyone. And Hestia reminds us that tending our own inner fire, that our own personal hearth in our hearts, is not selfish. It is what allows us to offer warmth to others without burning ourselves out. So ask yourself, where has your sacred flame grown dim because you've been trying to light everyone else's path? Where is that happening in your life? Where are you giving away more of you, more of your fire that you can't really afford to give up? So, here's some questions to ask yourself. Where am I chronically exhausted? Where are you in your life giving so much of yourself that you are so tired that you have nothing left for yourself? Who taught you that your worth dependent on your productivity? And for most of us, our answer is going to be our family, society, the expectation that as a woman, even especially now, where not only do you have to do all of the chores around the home, but now you have to contribute 50% of the finances too. It's not surprising that many women who are doing this are burning out and would rather just take care of themselves and their children than have to worry about some other adult that drains their resources, yet does not contribute their fair share. Okay. So finally, ask yourself, what can you lovingly release so that you are not burning yourself out? Can you give it to somebody else? Does it not have to be done? Because sometimes we have excessively high standards for what our house should look like, what our children should be doing, for any type of work that we're doing. It has to be done to perfection, or else it is not good enough. So, where is it that you can give away lovingly, not with resentment or anger, but lovingly? What is something you can lovingly give up so that you have more time and energy for yourself? And then do that. And if you can, every day this week, pause for just a few minutes, 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes where you don't answer the phone. You don't look at the television. You don't do any work. You simply sit down for a few minutes and breathe and appreciate being in your own skin. Okay? Ask yourself during this time, what is it I truly need right now? It could be something as simple as, I need to hydrate myself and get a glass of water. I need to um, just take some more deep breaths and allow my nervous system to regulate again. It could be something that simple that at that moment, you need one of those 7 types of rest. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, it could be spiritual, or any of the other types of rest that we talked about. And take that 10 minutes and give it to yourself. And allow that 10 minutes to be sacrosanct, just for you. No interruptions. Nobody can bother you unless the house is on fire or there's someone breaking in. You don't need to tend to anyone else's needs for just that 10 minutes. And if you can do it for 10 minutes, yay. Try to give yourself 20. Try to give yourself 20 minutes to just be. Okay. So we've already lit our candle. I'm going to bring it over here. And I want you to take a minute, put your hands on your heart. And if any of the following statements resonate with you, repeat them to yourself. I release the belief that my worth must be earned. I honor my body. I honor my spirit. I honor my rhythm. I receive rest as sacred medicine. I choose peace over performance. I choose presence over perfection. I choose myself. And so it is. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Now imagine that candlelight filling every tired place within you, bringing you warmth, bringing you light, bringing you comfort, bringing you space to be yourself. And remember, I'm going to say this as affirmations, but remember this: I deserve peace without permission. My worth is inherent. Rest restores my wisdom. I honor divine timing. My softness is sacred power. I trust my natural rhythm. I release urgency and I welcome ease. I am deeply supported. I am enough exactly as I am. So, my beloved goddesses, may you leave tonight remembering that you were never created to live in constant survival. Okay? And many of us have been to a point where we did everything we needed to do to survive. And it was all necessary and was all done with graciousness and love. But now it's time to recognize that what we really need is a reset from survival to thriving, from surviving to thriving. So I was going to say from survival to thrival, but that's not even a word. Okay. May you trust the seasons of your own becoming. May your home become a sanctuary. May your body become a temple. May your spirit remember its own rhythm. And when the world tells you to hurry, may you hear the goddess whisper, slow down, beloved. Your soul is waiting for you there. And until next Wednesday, may you walk gently, love deeply, rest fully, and remember the softest woman is often the strongest woman because she has learned that peace is also power. Go in love, go in grace, go in the wisdom of the goddess. And so it is. Good night.